Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Weekend Central. This bulletin is coming to you live from the news hub here at Adesawikanda. We're live on Facebook, it's TV3 Ghana, and on DSTV, it's channel 279. My name is George Quinn. The headlines this afternoon. Ministry of Energy and Green Transition and Ghana-Guinea Company Limited assure minimal disruption to electricity supply as scheduled maintenance works by the West African Gas Pipeline Company begin today. And Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni calls for closer collaboration with the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, as Ghana prepares to implement far-reaching reforms in legal education. Language approved, bringing that in our stories today. And also we'll take you to about where the AFCON final will be taking place at 7 p.m. Ghana time. Well, we have details of these stories and many more coming up in the next 60 minutes if you spend your time with me. And now, the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition and the Ghana-Guinea Company Limited, GridCo, have assured of minimal disruption to electricity supply ahead of scheduled maintenance works by the West African Gas Pipeline Company Limited today. GridCo, in a statement issued on Saturday, January 17, said it had been formally notified by WAPCO of mandatory maintenance works on 8 gas facilities in Ghana, scheduled for today, Sunday, January 18. Due to the exercise, there will be temporary interruption in gas supply to the thermal power plants located in Tema during the maintenance period. GridCo noted that the plant maintenance is necessary to ensure the safety, reliability, and integrity of the gas supply infrastructure. The statement added that stakeholders across the energy value chain will remain actively engaged and closely monitor the exercise to ensure its successful completion. Earlier, we spoke to Dr. Yusuf Sulemana, who is the technical advisor at the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition. Take a listen.
Yeah, indeed, if you understand how the pipeline structure works, Tema is located at the eastern part of Ghana, whilst we have the gas pool located in the western part. And so we do make use of the WAPCO, that's West African Gas Pipeline, to be able to convey, the gas from the western part of Ghana to the eastern part in Tema. And so if WAPCO is undergoing maintenance, for sure, there will be temporary cut of gas supply, to the eastern part to power the thermal plant. However, if you notice the release, a lot of engagement has been done with stakeholders, and I think enough measures have been put in place, enough mitigations have been put in place to forestall any potential disruption. However, the ministry together with GridCo is releasing this because, in abundance of caution, we should send this across. But just to let people know that such a maintenance is going to happen. During maintenance, there are surprises. You don't know when the time will extend and other things. However, we don't anticipate any major disruption or any disruption that will impact, industries, to the extent that maybe we'll have erratic power supply. No, because GridCo, together with other stakeholders, they have met and they have put enough mitigations in place. There will be some alternative fuel within the period that will be able to cover the shortfall during the maintenance period. Yeah, so the period is just 8 to 9 hours. It starts from 6 and ends around I think 3 o'clock p.m. So within that period, like I mentioned, let's say assuming we didn't have alternative in place, it means that we would have been able to knock off some amount of supply to the grid. But hopefully that's not going to happen. Like I mentioned, the important thing is assuming we didn't have alternative, let's say we didn't have any backup, we didn't have contingency plans, or let's say contingency plans failed, then we could have within that period, that supply of gas may affect maybe some thermal plants that are located within the eastern part of Ghana, that is Tema region. And so if thermal plants are down, you will notice that will have cascading impact on the supply of power, to the enclave.
Dr. Yusuf Sulemana is the technical advisor at the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition. Away from energy, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jinopokwajiman, has called for the rekindling of the long-standing Pan-African ties between Ghana and Guinea. The Vice President made the call in Conakry when she attended the investiture of Guinea's President, Mamadi Doumbouya, in Conakry. Ghana and Guinea have a long-standing relationship dating back to 1966, when Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, served as co-president of Guinea after he was overthrown. As part of efforts to strengthen the bond between the two countries, Vice President Professor Nana Jinopokwajiman has actually led a delegation to the investiture of Guinea's President, Mamadi Doumbouya, and other heads of states across Africa and around the world attended the investiture. The Vice President also visited the place where Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, used to reside in Conakry. Professor Opokwajiman emphasized the historic bond between the two countries and urged renewed cooperation to advance African unity and development.
Ghana and Guinea, these are the two countries that started before money came.
While in more news this afternoon, former GFA president and a leading national campaign coordinator, Kwesi Nyantakyi, has indicated that Kennedy Ohene-Agyapong is the most marketed presidential aspirant among the 5 presidential aspirants of the new patriotic party. According to him, it is not automatic that contesting an election is a guarantee for a second chance, but rather it is based on performance. Kwesi Nyantakyi spoke to our Upper East regional correspondent, Tanku Muhammad Rabiu in Bogatanga. Take a listen.
That the most popular, the most marketed amongst the 5 aspirants is no less a person than Kennedy Ohene-Agyapong. He's more popular than all of them. That's my first response. My second response is that the history that is quoted or referred to as the basis for that argument is a bit flawed, because all those who were given the chances to go second or third times were given the chances on account of their sterling performances. It is not automatic that when you contest an election, you are given a second chance. Your second chance is dependent on your performance on the first occasion. So if we take Professor Albert Edugwain, he did about 30-something%, less than 40%. And the party thought that he didn't do well and they didn't give him a second chance. J. Kufuor, he also did 30-something% in his first chance. The second one, he was given the opportunity. Nana Akufo-Addo got a first chance and he made 49.7%. He nearly won. He lost the election with just 23,000 votes. And then he was given the chance. The second one landed in court, and the third time he won. But in the 2024 election, if we do a graph, you see that the party's performance has been on the ascendancy, going up, going up, going up. Even those who had a second chance, like J. Kufuor, the first chance was very enviable. The second chance was equally enviable. So it was like this. But in 2024, the graph just developed a steep slope. And that is why people think that it is not worth it. Look at the performances of the MPP in the various regions. Upper West region, 11 constituencies. MPP got 0. NDC won 11 over 11. Upper East region, 15 constituencies. MPP got 0. NDC won 15 over 15. In the OT region, the same, 0. Volta region, the same, 0. If we take other regions like Savannah, 1 over 7. Bono East, 1 over 9. Western North, 1 over 9. And many other regions. The performance is so abysmal that people do not think that a second chance will give us a better scorecard. Kennedy Agyapong came out with another analysis. He said that if we look at the fact that John Mahama lost by 1 million votes in 2016, and it took him 8 years to stage a comeback, it means that somebody who lost by 1.7 million votes, it may take him 12 or 14 years to stage a comeback. If we are ready to wait for a long time, if MPP wants to stay in a long time, then you talk about a second chance. And that will then cascade into a third chance, and then a fourth chance, And by then, maybe many people will be out of the party. Some will even be dead.
The MPP presidential primaries is slated for January 31. If you don't want to miss any updates on this, the right place to be is TV3. And now, the paramount chief of the Buipe traditional area and vice president of the National House of Chiefs, Buipera Abdullah Janapor, is urging government institutions and agencies to leverage on artificial intelligence AI technology to improve their digital infrastructure. According to him, making good use of digital technologies will not only increase productivity but also improve security and efficiency. The Buipera made these remarks during a consultative engagement with the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, over the new number plate system by the DVLA. The Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority has announced the introduction of a comprehensive new vehicle registration number plate system as part of a broader reform aimed at modernizing Ghana's road transport and vehicle identification framework. And we'll be crossing over to my colleague Christopher Marco shortly. Christopher Marco is a Savannah regional correspondent and joins us more for more updates on this. Chris, what else has the paramount chief been saying?
Yes, so George, basically the paramount chief has been adding his voice to the voice of many Ghanaians who are calling for the general public to, as it were, endorse and accept the new number plate system that the DVLA is introducing. We all know that the DVLA has announced that it is going to introduce a new number plate system where which has some digital features where a chip will be embedded in the plate to, as it were, amongst other things, provide security for vehicle owners and drivers. And so the DVLA, since last year, began engagement with the general public to ensure that the public is sensitized, educated on the system that is coming. And so as part of their education and engagement, they were at the Bupere's palace to inform him and also take him through and his people about the new number plate system. Fortunately for them, the Bupera has bought into the idea and also urging Ghanaians to give attention to this particular new number plate system that is coming. And for him, as a paramount chief and vice president of the National House of Chiefs, he has endorsed it. He's also indicated that he's going to engage paramount chiefs within the Savannah region as well as other sub-chiefs to also buy into this idea. He's indicated as well that the country, the world at large is going digital. AI has come to take over everything. Digital technologies has come to take over everything. And so the DVLA indicating that they are going digital is not in the wrong direction, but in a direction that will help. And so Parliament, when they reconvene, should fast track this process so that the DVLA can also roll it out. Let's take a listen to what the Bupera has to say.
With the new exercise coming, I think it's in line with the resettling agenda of the whole country. Because resettling agenda is to do away with some of the old systems which are not progressive, which are not productive. So every sector in life in Ghana now, we should toe down and follow and see what we can also reset ourselves, even including custom and tradition. Vehicle industry system is one of the most important systems in every country. Transportation, very, very important. Movement is very, very important. And I'm only appealing to all my fellow Ghanaians, both old and young, those who own vehicles and those who have mind of buying vehicles, to toe to the agenda of reset of the DVLA. All those who have their vehicles now, they should start rushing to change their number plates to digital. I think I've had explanation about it, and it's very, very important. It's very, very simple. Besides that, we are in the digital world. So it is in order. But the only appeal I'm making to my fellow Ghanaians, that those who are already in possession of vehicles, every vehicle will be reset every vehicle will have to change and get the digital number. So even though the matter is still being looking into, but I don't think even Parliament can throw it away because it's worthwhile. So they should start rushing.
Yes, when we talk about AI, there's this global scare that it will take jobs. But are there any indications that the residents within this metropolis have welcomed this very idea?
Yes, George, exactly. They are saying that, over the years, vehicle owners, when they sell their vehicles to a third party, going to do change of ownership has always become a problem. There are vehicles in the system, 5 years, 6 years, that people have bought from other owners that they are yet to do transfer of ownership and all those things. And so the delays and the frustrations that new owners go through has become a matter of concern to these residents. Most of them have also indicated that some vehicle owners, they buy the vehicle, they continuously leave the DV plate because they want its market value to still remain intact. They will not go and do the register the car with the usual number plates that we know. And so they have welcomed it. First of all, if you are buying a car from someone, the price, if it is 5 years back, the price may also go down because a number plate system would have checked to tell you when the car was bought and registered. And the second aspect has to do with the security implications of it. People are worried that mostly their vehicles get missing, drivers go to other places with the vehicles and all those things. And so they are saying that this new number plate system is something that they welcome. Once it is going to be centralized, digital, such that it is in one platform across the country. But their worry has to do with when the registration starts, access to the personnel that will do this registration. DVLA has given them the assurance that is why they have started what they call the onboarding process now. So people with vehicles ranging from 2023 till date can begin taking them to their offices so that they begin the onboarding processes. Take that when the exercise itself begins and you go, they are just completing the process for you, and it costs just 25 cedis to do this, George.
Christopher, thank you so much for your time. Christopher Macron is our Savannah regional correspondent, updating us on this fact that the Bupera is urging government institutions to adopt AI to enhance the operations. If you just tune in, you're watching Weekend Central with myself. In more news this afternoon, the paramount chief of the Wassa Fiase traditional area, Odinoho Akrofa Kokokwi III, has appealed to President Mahama and his government to prioritize the revival of the Western Rail Line. His cause follows what may seem as the abandonment of a 500 million euro project initiated by the previous administration with a 42-month timeline. Compounding this is the $165 million Kojo Chrome to Takra, the passenger line, left to deteriorate since its commissioning in November 2016. Irma Smith has more.
In 2016, this station at Kojo Chrome was the scene of national celebration. President Mahama had commissioned a new $165 million railway line for the Sekondi Takoradi area, promising it marked the transformation of Ghana's railways. The 15-kilometer line was meant to connect communities and boost the local economy, but this has stalled. What you hear now is the sound of neglect. The only passengers are the elements. Rust is the new conductor, steering these luxury coaches towards ruin. A state investment of $165 million is now a decaying liability, raising urgent questions about what went wrong.
But the train now, or you buy my hands, more. The train on you.
We are here because of this train service. However, for some time now, the trains have not been operational. We, the workers, were tasked with ensuring the smooth running of the trains, but the proposed fares for tickets was rejected by the government. With the current fare, we cannot break even.
Students training to rebuild Ghana's railways are watching this decay with dismay. At the School of Railways and Infrastructure Development at Esikado, affiliated with the University of Mines and Technology, Takwa, the sentiment is one of disappointment.
I'm very disturbed with the current situation of our railway in our country. This is because I feel like we've left it to just be in the shambles. Here, we are the School of Railway and Infrastructure Development. So if they are able to build our Western railway system, it will give this UMAT campus a new kind of vision. It will give it a new kind of enlightenment, because people would want to come here more, because at least they are going to find the railways within the school.
We are hoping for the best, for the company to be revived well, for us to also get somewhere to actually work or engineer what we are actually learning from UMAT.
For 10 years, one major question has lingered. Why are we here? How did a multi-million-dollar project end up rotting away? We are here at the Takoradi Port Station, where roofing sheets have been ripped off. The Ghana Railway Company says it is aware of the problem, but no solution is in sight. This decay isn't isolated. Nearly every station along the line suffers from the same neglect. Weeds are overtaking the tracks, and disrepair is the standard. But could there be hope in sight? The Ghana Railway Company Limited's Managing Director, Dr. Michael Eje Aite, says they have signed a memorandum of understanding with the Ghana-Guinea company to restart operations on the line. He's calling for government backing to speed up the process and improve rail services.
We had an agreement from GMC. GMC is Ghana-Guinea company. They made some proposals. They gave it to us. We also did a counter proposal. This proposal, I've been assured, is gone to the minister and it has gone to the president. Because if you don't do that, this company will collapse. We on our own, we can't do it. Can we do it? No, sir. We can't do it.
The previous NPP government marked a new beginning in a well-attended ceremony at Manso in the Western Regions in Pohor District on July 5, 2022, where officials cut the sword for a 78-kilometer standard gauge railway line. This landmark, €500 million project, the largest of its kind in Ghana, was to be built by Amandi Investment Limited over 42 months, connecting Manso to Univali. The contract included constructing stations and supplying trains and maintenance equipment. At the event, then President Akufo-Addo had highlighted continued progress on the Western Line, reporting that the 22-kilometer segment from Kojokrom to Manso was on track for completion before the close of 2022. 4 years later, the site is silent and abandoned. Indigents along the route are desperate for an intervention. Paramount Chief of the Wasafiase traditional area, Odenehu Akrofa Kokoko III, has appealed urgently to President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC administration to refocus efforts on the dormant Western rail lines.
Your Excellency, any dim. Railways are semi. Wabay. Mtitu srau se ma. Express train na and when we are Emra.
Your Excellency, I wish to appeal for the restoration of the former express train service. This service was of great benefit to the smaller communities situated along the railway. At present, however, the infrastructure has fallen into disrepair. We humbly request your urgent attention and intervention regarding the Western Railway.
Irama Smith, TV3 News, Western Region.
Now, the Bureau of Ghana Languages has officially accepted the teaching and learning of the Ahanta language in basic and secondary schools after endorsing the developed orthography for the language, which the Bureau says meets all requirements. This giant achievement means the language can be examined at both the WASI and BEC levels by the West African Examination Council, WAEC. Ahanta, which already had a Bible translation for the New Testament, has never been taught in schools, posing a serious danger of possible extinction of the language. The Member of Parliament, Mavis Kukwa Bisiu, over the last year has made serious efforts, including setting up a committee to develop a curriculum for the language. She earlier held discussions with the University of Education Winneba, as well as the training of teachers who would teach the Ahanta language. Well, my colleague Christian Yale is on the line. He's also our parliamentary correspondent. Chris, what more do you know about this very project?
George, what we know is that over the past year, the MP for Ahanta West, Mavis Kukwabisiu, has been working around the clock. First, she established a committee, a Ahanta Language Project Committee, to put together what we call a curriculum for the study of the Ahanta language. So that committee or group of educators across the constituency or municipality who were put together also came up with what you call a framework or a pilot program. Indeed, over the past year, this pilot program has been taking place across the constituency, and so the MP through that committee has been going on rounds to other schools that is selected to undertake this pilot project. Now, over the years, or over the year as well, she has held various stakeholder consultations, including the Department of Language of the University of Education, Winneba. Now, one question that some have asked when this news came up was about the teachers, those who are going to teach it. And according to all my sources, there have been a number of teachers or people who have already undergone training to be able to, teach this language once it is accepted. Now we have the orthography accepted by the Bureau of Ghana Languages. What it means is that the subsequent processes leading to the teaching of this language in schools is going to take place, which means that both at the basic school level as well as the secondary school level, this language will get to be taught, just as other languages like Nzema, which many see as the twin language to Ahanta language. George.
And Chris, we understand there are still few steps to take. Walk us through these steps.
Certainly, a few steps more, also because this letter, as we have cited, copied to the Ahanta West MP from the Bureau of Ghana Languages, is not an end in itself. Now, after this, the Bureau of Ghana Languages needs to get some copies of the orthography, which they have accepted. And now, after they have gotten those copies, they would go ahead to send their own letters as well to the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment, NACA, as well as GES and WAEC and relevant agencies and groups, so that all of these groups would be copied or would be informed as to how to go ahead or search forward concerning this particular development. And then once that is done, all the materials, the teaching and learning materials would be produced, and in conjunction with this curriculum which they have accepted, then officially a particular academic year, this language, which is the Ahanta language, will begin to be taught. And so it is one that the MP is very happy about, knowing that she's been very, enthusiastic and very deliberate about this effort in helping to get the Ahanta language taught. One that many thought was going to be extinct because it wasn't taught. And you have the Western region, which is predominantly occupied by Ahantes and Nzemes, now getting other languages like Fante and Wasa and Asante Tree dominating the land. And so this is a good step forward for the MP herself. Okay.
Chris, Christian Yale is our correspondent. Thank you so much. He's also our parliamentary correspondent. I'm sure you have a take on this very Ahanta project. We are active on Facebook as TV3 Ghana. Hopefully, if you share your comments with us, we read them to the rest of the world. And now, Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni has called for closer collaboration with the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, as Ghana prepares to implement far-reaching reforms in legal education. According to him, the success of the new reforms will depend on GTEC authorizing only properly accredited law faculties to run Bachelor of Laws program, LLB. He made these remarks during a courtesy visit to the Director General of GTEC, Professor Hakamet Jinapo Inakwa.
The Chief Justice was accompanied by the Acting Director of the Ghana School of Law, Professor Raymond Atuguba, and the Judicial Secretary, Abu Musa Ahmed. Currently before Parliament is the Legal Education Reforms Bill 2025, which is expected to be passed this year. The proposed reforms seek to end the Ghana School of Law's long-standing monopoly over professional legal training. Under the new framework, universities offering LLB programs will be permitted, subject to accreditation, to provide practical legal training internally. Graduates will then be required to pass a national bar examination before being called to the bar.
The LLB students who are going to turn out every year, in terms of, the aggregate number of LLB students every year, is more than 4,000. So added to the backlog of this year alone, more than 4,000 people took the examination, and with the ingenuity of Professor Tudiba, we managed to admit about 2,000, and even that one is stretching our resources. So what we are thinking of is having the law school, the law faculties, accredited law faculties, do the law school work. Then we will all come and write the final examination. So the magic word has been used, accredited. That's where you come.
The Chief Justice further gave his full backing for the efforts by the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission to crack down on unearned doctoral and professorial titles by some Ghanaians. On his part, the Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, Professor Ahmed Jinapo Abdullahi, assured the Chief Justice of the Commission's full support. He emphasized that while GTEC would facilitate the operationalization, ownership of the reforms would remain with the General Legal Council.
We are ready to cede ownership of the whole accreditation infrastructure to you, for you to, in fact, if it means getting the resource persons who will go and do the accreditation, we don't have a problem with that. And as I keep saying, accreditation is a peer review exercise. I cannot say I'm going to accredit law at KNUST. If we want to do it, we'll ask Professor Tubuga to go and do it for us. If we want to do it at Accra, we'll get somebody from Kumasi to come and do it. So GTEC only provide the vehicle for the professionals to do it. So in terms of ownership, you will have to take the ownership and we'll support you.
The AFCON finals is today. We'll be crossing over to Rabat for more updates after this break. Stay with us. Well, welcome back from the break, and now let's talk AFCON, and all roads lead to Rabat as the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations final is set to commence at 7 p.m. Ghana time in Rabat, Morocco. Host Morocco will battle Senegal for the all-important trophy at the Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium. Billy Shen is currently in Rabat for the game, and will join us shortly via Zoom for more updates. Yeah. Bill, I see it's very cool there. Consider the jacket you're wearing. Can you tell us how the atmosphere is like in Rabat?
Yeah, as you rightly mentioned, it's quite cold. It's around 10 degrees Celsius here in Rabat, Morocco, for the final. And as you can see right behind me, that's the stadium, the Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium, where the game will be played between Morocco and Senegal. And I can tell you, because I'll be showing you around as I move, that the security detail is already being set up. Roads have been blocked. A number of roads have been blocked on the way to the stadium. As you can see, straight ahead, the police service are going through the final touches or final details for the match. As you can see, right where I've turned to, there are some blockades. There are some blockades that have been set up, but some cars can pass, some cars cannot pass. It depends on the kind of car that you are driving. Taxis cannot pass this end. And then you can see some cleaners over here. Even more security personnel up ahead, where they will be checking the fans and their tickets before they do enter. Now, I understand that security is even going to be much more tighter before the game, because it's not just because it's a final, it's also because the royal family of Morocco would be here to actually watch it, led by the king. Mohammed VI. And so he will be here with the royal family to be at the stadium to watch the final. And on my way here in the train station, I met a number of Moroccan fans who were very, very nervous going into the final. I mean, they were even asking me if I was from Senegal. If I had said yes, they would have said, oh, Senegal will win. But the moment I said Ghana, they were like, oh, you're confident, Morocco will win. We think Morocco can win. And so the mood here is a bit of some nervousness from especially the Moroccan fans ahead of this game.
Okay. Somewhere last week, I saw Jurgen Klopp's statement on Facebook asking Sadio Mane to relax so that, what's his name, Mo Salah wins this game to please the king. So what does this trophy mean to both countries?
Yeah, I think to Morocco it means a lot more, because they've not won the AFCON since 1976. And the last time they reached the AFCON final was 2004, where they lost to Tunisia. And so there has been a long drought for that AFCON trophy. And this particular one means a lot more to them because they are the host country. And so it means a whole lot more. For Senegal, I mean, they last won the AFCON in 2021. They showed dominance in the African Cup of Nations in the last 4 editions, actually reaching 3 finals in the last 4 editions. So if they win this, it will be their second trophy. The first, they won it in 2021. And it will also be a boost for Senegal. But I think overall, Morocco have gone through a longer drought, so they probably need it even more than Senegal does.
Okay. Bill, some say this will be a host and win competition. What are your predictions?
I think Morocco have the advantage. I've been to this stadium during the quarterfinal and during the semifinals. And one thing that really stood out for me is how menacing the fans can be. They whistle throughout the game, especially when the opposition is in possession of the ball. And that can unsettle a lot of people. It unsettled Cameroon. It went a long way to unsettle Nigeria. And I think they would even be louder. And I feel the stadium will be packed, because I asked a few people on the way here, and I'm told that the stadium is literally sold out. And so we expect the stadium to be packed. A lot of Moroccan fans will be here. And so the whistles will be louder. And that might unsettle Senegal, and Morocco can win it.
I saw some Ghanaians, there, especially with Maya among others, and they were there because Nigeria was also part of them. But now that, West African teams are all out, are they still there? Are they going to watch the final?
Yes, a lot of the Ghanaians are still around. They will come here to watch the final. Of course, I've seen some Senegalese fans as well who will be watching the final. Although they wouldn't have as many seats as you would expect, because a lot of the seats will go to Morocco. But there are still some West Africans, even in terms of journalists. Some from Cameroon are still here because there's that Senegalese interest still. And so a lot of these journalists and fans are still around and are hoping to get into the stadium to watch the final.
Okay, Bill, thank you so much for your time. Bill Ishen is our sports correspondent. He's just beginning his update from Rabat, where the finals is taking place. AFCON final, Senegal against the host country, Morocco. Let us know what your predictions are. Go to 3 Sports for more updates on this very development. In a move to promote environmental sustainability in the Techima North constituency, authorities are integrating horticulture into ongoing road construction project. And the initiative, led by Member of Parliament Elizabeth Ofosu-Jari, aims to create a green buffer to combat the perennial twin threat of flooding and soil erosion that have plagued the district.
Kate, Techima North has been a victim of its own geography. The constituency's unique topography, characterized by steep inclines and undulating plains, has consistently funneled rainwater into destructive torrents. In December 2025, the Member of Parliament spearheaded the construction of the critical Arano Road. The pace of work has caught attention of local authorities and technical observers. With the construction moving ahead of schedule, the constituency is bracing for new rainy season in which, for the first time in years, floodwaters may finally be kept at bay.
The
construction work started about 3 weeks ago, but the pace of work is really commendable because this road has been a major threat to us for years. We're really amazed by the pace of the construction work that's been channeled here, especially the works on the drains. The regional director for feeder roads has commended the contractor, noting that the speed of execution has not compromised the project structural integrity.
So far, what the contractor has even done is beyond 50% in less than 3 months. So we say we are ahead of schedule. So far, the quality-wise, everything is in order.
The Member of Parliament for Techima North, Elizabeth Ofosu-Jari, has confirmed that plans have been finalized to plant specific ornamental and deep-rooted vegetation across the shoulders of the new roads.
With all the road construction that's going to go on, we're going to plant trees along the road to make it beautiful. Also, you know, the ozone layer depletion, we know the climate change issues. Techima North wants to take a very bold step by making sure that we take advantage of this road construction. We will plant our trees, depending on which trees will do well with the space.
And now, organized labor groups are set to engage President John Dramani Mahama in the coming months to explore ways of boosting cocoa production and increasing output levels in the country. The General Secretary of the ICU, Morgan Ayawini, announced this at the quadrennial delegates conference of the National Consultative Council of the Quality Control Company Employees Union of Cocoa Board in Kumasi.
Speaking at the Quadrennial Delegates Conference, General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, ICU, Morgan Ayawene, urged workers across the cocoa value chain to take pride in their contributions to sustaining the industry and supporting the livelihoods of millions of Ghanaians. He acknowledged the challenges currently confronting Cocoa Board and its subsidiaries. He revealed that ICU Ghana, working closely with the General Agricultural Workers Union, GAU, and the Trades Union Congress, has begun engaging key stakeholders to secure an audience with the president.
The Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, ICU Ghana, will put the General and Agricultural Workers Union, that is GAU, and TUC Ghana, is mobilizing all relevant stakeholders to seek audience with His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, to deliberate on practical ways to support and sustain Cocoa Board, its divisions and subsidiaries.
Later, the ICU General Secretary inaugurated the newly elected union leadership, tasking them to work collaboratively with management and government to reposition Cocoa Board as a strong pillar of Ghana's economy. The newly elected chairman of the union and the National Consultative Council of the Quality Control Company of Cocoa Board, Papa Sapona Mankwa pledged the union's full commitment to supporting efforts aimed at strengthening cocoa board and advancing growth within the cocoa sector.
And now the Adabraka District Court has remanded into police custody Christopher Afedu Damful, also known as Eco Black, in connection with a viral assault case and additional extortion allegations. The suspect was put before the Adabraka District Court on Friday, January 16, where the court presided over by Her Worship Nana Abena Aso Usu Omunyo ordered that he be remanded into police custody to reappear on January 21. The remand follows ongoing investigations into an earlier incident captured in a viral video, as well as fresh allegations that the suspect threatened to circulate intimate images and engaged in acts consistent with sextortion. And so the legal team will actually be following up on this very development and finish with updates in our subsequent bulletins. In more news this afternoon, English, once shaped mainly by Britain and the West, is now reflecting African voices. From Abeg to Jakpa and Afrobeat, everyday West African expressions have entered the Oxford English Dictionary, sparking debate over language ownership and identity. Samuel Lebo Adams reports.
They are common expressions used in everyday conversations and are normally used interchangeably with the official language. Abeg when pleading, Abrotre for overseas, Japa for migration, and Afrobeat for the popular music genre enjoyed by many.
The government must do more to make the economy of Ghana more attractive to the youth so that they don't japa.
Afrobeat has come a long, long way, and I hope we all jump to it.
I can't wait to go to Abuchi. Please don't involve me in this for halal, I beg.
Just recently, the Oxford English Dictionary added about 500 new words, phrases and meanings to its lexicon, with several entries originating from West Africa. The above words, alongside other West African words from various categories such as slangs, interjections, food and culture were included. A number of Ghanaian words were also featured: Abrotre, Obroni, hip life, light soup, among others. This addition has sparked a lot of conversations, with many describing it as a feat. But is it really a feat? English professor and renowned poet Professor Kofi Anyido says that English has always evolved.
This is normal with not just English, but languages, that every language borrows from other languages. You pick up Dumso, at the time it came up here, once it got into popular usage here, they recognize it because that's what they've been doing all along.
For him, the African language has always been valid, irrespective of global acknowledgement.
What is missing is our failure to recognize the legitimacy of our own languages. If we don't recognize the legitimacy of our own languages, the importance of what business has anybody got to do it for us?
Senior lecturer at the English Department of the University of Ghana, Legon, Dr. Kwabno Opoku-Agyeman, also explained how the addition of the West African words and expressions into the Oxford English Dictionary has a bearing on the way English is taught on the African continent.
Hopefully, some of these incidents will help us stop looking down on our ways of doing things. For example, we call our languages vernacular. And vernacular has a very problematic history in terms of its meaning, for instance. And we are the ones doing it to ourselves. We can celebrate and acknowledge and embrace our own words and our own language because it's part of our culture.
Many continue to ask, should students be encouraged to see their local expressions as part of global English?
We can easily do Ghanaian English or create Ghanaian English or promote Ghanaian English in different ways. Actually, I have colleagues here who are doing that kind of work. With the proper funding and supports, they'll come up with a corpus of Ghanaian English grammar, Ghanaian English semantics, Ghanaian English morphology, and so on and so forth. And they're all fine.
Meanwhile, Professor Anyidoho believes that the local language should be embraced to legitimize it enough.
We are hooked up on Brofosem. And some people may be surprised that I am saying this sitting here in the English department as a professor of English. I say so without hesitation because I have learned the history of how the English language moved from being in a situation where our languages are in today during the Middle Ages. But I also write a book of poems in effort. We must be doing both. We should not sacrifice our own for the benefit of somebody else's language.
Some students from the English department of the University of Ghana reacted to the Oxford English Dictionary add-up.
I think it's honestly very great how the English language is becoming very inclusive of West African languages.
We've been using the English language for as long as we can remember. And the addition of these words into the Oxford Dictionary makes us feel recognized.
Hearing that some words that we have been mentioning lots of times in our parts of the world has been added to the Oxford Dictionary makes us feel very heard.
Ghanaian local words being added to the Oxford Dictionary is a big flex for our culture.
It's very exciting for kids growing up to see words which were formerly known as native words in the Oxford Dictionary.
The update also featured additions from across the world, including Maltese English, Japanese English, and South Korean English, reflecting the increasingly global nature of the English language. As globalization continues to bridge up communication barriers, scholars say more addition could be seen in the future. Samuel Yeboah Adams for TV3 News, Accra.
Well, that's all time will allow us this afternoon. For more news updates, just log on to our website. It's 3news.com. Alternatively, join my colleagues Grace Amwajiman and Crosby tonight at 7 p.m. on News 360. And Hot Issues is right after this bulletin, 1 p.m. with Kemiaman. And also, for the very latest updates on the AFCON finals, Senegal and Morocco, 3 Sports has got you covered. My name is Josh Quinn. Thanks for watching. It's always a pleasure coming your way. Good afternoon.